Welcome back to another exciting episode on the show, Control or Be Controlled. Podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your host, Darlington. Today's guest is Teresa Gale, an executive coach, certified Enneagram trainer, and author of The Inner Work of Love and Action, an embodied Enneagram path from self-forgetting to self-remembering. For more than 30 years, Teresa has worked with leaders, teams, and individuals, helping them understand a quiet struggle many people experience: the feeling that the life they are living is different from the life they are capable of living. Through her work, she explores the concept of self-forgetting, how we lose connection with ourselves through patterns, expectations, and constant adaptation, and how we can return to a more authentic and present way of living. Blending organizational consulting, contemplative practice, and embodied personal growth. She offers a powerful perspective on identity, relationships, purpose, and transformation. Teresa, welcome to the show.
Be here.
Teresa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
All right, so I really hope you enjoyed that introduction.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's get into the questions I have for you. So, tell us, what is self-forgetting, and why do so many people experience it without realizing it?
So, self-forgetting is what happens when we just get wrapped up in life, right? We override sort of this connection to ourself, but it's more than that because it happened very early in life. We're told that, a child up to about age of 4 is trying to figure out, how do I stay safe? How am I safe, secure? I feel as if I belong and I'm loved in this environment that I'm living in. And so they try on different strategies of how to adapt to the environment that they're in. Well, that becomes patterns of thinking, feeling, and acting. So these patterns develop very early in life, and they're developed for that particular environment. And the pattern is around, how do I adapt? And so what gets forgotten is who I truly am. And through life, we continue to, go into different environments. And sometimes the strategies we develop very early in life don't work as well. And particularly when we get to being adults, that we tend to have, like this, we try the strategy or that patterns, and they just don't work as well. And so there becomes this inner question about, what's going on? Why am I not feeling fulfilled or satisfied? Or why am I not getting where I want to? And there's this moment for waking up, right? This self-remembering. It's like that self is there. We just have to be able to pause and return inward, as opposed to always being focused. Our attention is always on the outside of us, right? It's the environment, the demands that we have, all those things, the people in our lives that need things from us and we're in relationship with. So self-forgetting is something, it's something that has patterns to it that you can recognize, but it also is hardwired in us. And that's why it's so difficult to consistently remember ourselves, to return to ourselves.
All right. Thank you so much, Teresa. So, your journey began with learning to adapt and make yourself invisible. How did those early experiences shape the person you became?
Well, they shape the way we go into the world. And so, if, for instance, a child learns that I have to do everything correct and I can't make any error, then their whole attention becomes focused on, in everything they do, on doing things correctly. And so we have this attention pattern that happens, and it's so narrowed into this strategy, these patterns of thinking, acting, and feeling, that it narrows our focus, and we miss the opportunities to bring our true self into the day-to-day living. So, an example might be myself, where I learned very early in life to go along to get along. My attention always went to keeping things peaceful and harmonious, and it was about avoiding conflict. And so everything that I did was focused outside of me, looking to make sure everybody outside of me was okay, because then I would be okay. And so I was when I learned this, when I became sort of this, I used the tool called the Enneagram, and it really helps to identify where is that attention. There's nine ways that our attention can get pulled, and the patterns of that attention that comes from it. And so when I learned that, wow, I am focused on everybody else, and I don't even know who I am. Like, if I were to say something, I oftentimes would hold back saying things because I didn't want it to upset anybody. I was thinking that they were going to be upset if I said something, or that maybe they wouldn't agree with me, and therefore that would be conflict. So, it's the experience is, I guess that's the big piece here, is that the experience is happening without our awareness, right? We are living our day to day without this level of self-awareness. And when we stop and we actually become curious about, why did I just do that? Like, what is it that I wanted to do, but I didn't do? Or what did I do and didn't quite work out? And so it's that sort of tension of the experience within one experience that may be the beginning point of self-remembering.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Teresa, for the answer. So, why do you believe? Tell us why you believe knowing something intellectually isn't always enough to create real change.
Yeah. So we have three centers of intelligence. We have our head, we have our heart, and we have our body. And knowing myself is oftentimes up in the head. The head is where we think, where we strategize, where we imagine. There's all kinds of activities of thinking that are going on in our head. But when we're only up in our head, we're actually cut off from the rest of the two centers of intelligence that inform us actually about the whole self, right? So the heart is where we connect into the feelings and emotions, but it's also the place where we desire connection and we desire to belong. And, in the Sufi tradition, they talk about the heart as the gateway to the soul. And so that heart information is so important. So if I'm only in my head, then I'm missing this piece that's so crucial to the fullness of who I am. And then the third center of intelligence is our body. The whole body gives us information all the time. And centered in the body is the gut. And oftentimes our gut reaction is actually the truth that's being spoken within ourselves, but we discount it and we very quickly go back up into our head and, begin thinking about why that worked, why that wouldn't work, whatever. So, knowing yourself versus being fully embodied in yourself brings in these 3 centers of attention. And there's an exercise that if I can align my 3 centers when I'm making a decision, when I'm trying to figure out what to do today, when I'm, having a relationship challenge and I've got to make a decision, I can do this 3-centered practice, which is to just check in with my head. Okay, what am I thinking? What are all the thoughts that I have about this? And then I move my attention to the heart. And at the heart, it's, what am I feeling? What's going on for me? What am I concerned about? Particularly like a leader in business. At this point, if they're trying to make a decision, they're going to say, who's all involved that's going to be impacted by this decision? What are the relationships and what are the connections that need to be tended to as I make this decision, right? And then moving down, bringing attention down into the belly where the gut is, and, sort of what is my body, what is my gut telling me is the next right action to do. And so when all 3 of those centers are aligned, then I'm fully embodied and I'm fully inside myself, self-aware. I'm present and I'm grounded. And that's where our best decisions come from. That's where our best actions come from, because we've aligned ourselves and we are now fully embodied in who we are, and we've listened to ourselves. I mean, this is the key, right? It's listening to yourself. And instead of listening to everybody else out there, it's being able to quiet down a bit and just listen to what you really want, what you really need, what you really think, what really is that next right action for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Teresa. So, your book focuses on the path from self-forgetting to self-remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what self-remembering look like in everyday life? This process of self-forgetting to self-remembering, how does it look like practically in our everyday life?
So I just alluded to it in my last answer. It looks like being fully present inside myself. Self-remembering is when I'm able to go inside and I'm able to check in with my head, check in with my heart, check in with my body. And in that ability to do that, things like making good decisions, things like, what do I need to accomplish today? Like I have in my book an exercise called the daily review. And you start at the beginning of the day and you go, what are the 2 to 3 things? I'm up in my head. What are the 2 to 3 things that I need to get done today? And then I move to my heart and it's like, what connections, what relationships do I need to tend to today? What feelings, what emotions are running, and are they cues or clues for me as to some actions that I need to take today? And then moving into the body, and that's where, the body moves. The body is in action, and therefore the body can, I've got these thoughts about it, I've got these feelings about it, and then we go to the gut and we go, okay, there's 3 options. I can do something, I can do nothing, or I can wait. And when we are able to key in, to center into, what I need in this moment, what is needed in this moment, that's self-remembering. When I'm personally trying to make a decision, or when I have to have an interaction with a difficult person that in my life sort of triggers things for me, that's one of the things my teacher, Helen Palmer, was so helpful in, that it's like, but when I'm triggered by somebody else, instead of having my attention over onto that person and, look what they did and how they hurt me and this and all that, bring it back and turn the mirror back and say, why am I reacting right now? Because it could be several days before the person did the same thing, but I didn't have the trigger as I did, right now. And so really investigating, I call it self-inquiry into, okay, what's going on for me right now? So what am I thinking? What am I feeling about this? And what action do I need to take? What action do I want to take in this moment? So I always say, strengthening the muscle of this three-centered awareness is relatively easy because you just need, like if you're driving and you're at a stoplight, just check in with your head, your heart, and your body. And, it's that shift from being external and looking out to looking in. And, there's a practice in the book called in and down. So where I bring my attention inside of me, and then I bring it down into my belly where there's this solidness of presence that I connect to. And so strengthening that muscle so that when I need to get into my head, my heart, and my body real quick, I've practiced it. And practice is what it really is about. It's like if we really want change, we really want to make the shifts in our lives that we want, it comes down to consistency in how much we tune into ourselves, and we come back to our self-remembering.
Right, Teresa, thank you so much. I think this also is a way of unlearning and learning again, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Because I feel we are all in the process of trying to learn new things, but we forget that we need to unlearn the ones that we have learned already. And your book is gearing us towards that. Okay. So, what role do embodied practices play in helping people create lasting transformation?
Well, I believe that practice, just like if we want to strengthen our muscles, we do weights, right? If we want to make our heart healthy, we do cardio activities, and we, have a healthy diet. And so if we want to be self-remembering, if we want to come back and to, really connect in with that part, true self, and live the life that we want, then we need to be intentional in terms of how we do that. And so all the practices in my book are ones that are ones that people can do. They're easy. I mean, there's a lot of practices, guided meditations, and none of them are more than about 6 to 7 minutes. And something like that, doing that every day, doing one thing every day that brings you back to self-remembering, taking baby steps like that can really be the practice of returning to self-remembering. Now, the more we practice, the sooner we remember ourselves. So our self-forgetting, before we're aware that we are self-forgetting, can run and, like this show is called, it can control us. And we're just on automatic. The moment we have this awareness that we have forgotten ourselves, that this is self-forgetting, these behaviors are forgetting. The moment we have that, all of a sudden we have this opportunity to remember. And so the window of time of self-forgetting shortens the more we practice self-remembering. And so it's sort of like, the scale, right? It's like on the one side, the left side of the scale, when we're self-forgetting, it's totally pressed down, right? It's totally in use. There's just no self-remembering. But the more we begin to practice self-remembering, that scale begins to balance, and to a point where, we never 100% self-remember all the time, because it's just not habitual until we've developed that. But the greater we return to self-remembering, the less we self-forget. And so that window of time of when we're self-forgetting becomes shorter and shorter and shorter. And that's the sense of living the life that I want to live, living the life that is mine to live, because I've done these practices. I've shortened that window of self-forgetting, and I've enlarged the window of self-remembering, and I'm living more out of my embodied self presence, like I'm present to myself. And that makes me that much more able to be present to others, and to really have fulfilling relationships, and to be doing things that bring us great joy and satisfaction and fulfillment, and to, have that inner sense of fullness, of wholeness. And at a spiritual level, it's that ability to love that wells up. When we can love who we are, we then move into action, because we want to spread that to other people. And so that's that movement from action, in the inner work of love and action, right? So the more I bring out the best in me, the more I accept and love that person that I am, the more capable I am. And I want to be able to then bring that into the world. I want to bring myself, I want to bring my gifts, and I want to bring everything that I have to offer into the world, and offer it to people.
Okay, Teresa, so I'm just curious. How do you get into all this? Where is the inspiration coming from?
Mm. Great question. In my book, I share the story of sort of how I developed my pattern of self-forgetting, and it really happened around a situation where I was sent away at like age 3.5. And, as a 3.5-year-old, I went to an aunt and uncle's house, and I had no idea why I was, sent away. And then my uncle sexually abused me. And so from that moment coming back, I finally did go home, and I was wounded. And that began my search, my goodness, for, a lifetime, right? It's been a search for a lifetime to, be able to. There was just something always in me that was like, something is not quite right, and I want to tune into, more. It's like I couldn't figure out what I wanted, because I was so concerned about what everybody else wanted and needed. And so that began when I learned the Enneagram. It really opened my eyes to this self that was there, but I was just not giving enough time to get to know it. And so that's been my journey. I have studied the Enneagram. I did a 2-year program at the Center for Action and Contemplation, which was all about sort of this contemplative practice, the way of coming back into yourself. And I've just done a lot of outer work. But for me, the key has been to not look outside of myself for the answers, but to really develop that practice of looking inward and pausing and being quiet and listening is quite a challenge. It's something that you have to work on every single day, because there's so much else going on out here in the world, right? And we can get sucked in by that. But what really matters is, how do we tend to ourselves? And so I'm learning that. I continue to learn that. It's been many, many years, but I think what has helped me in writing this book has been to be able to really look at that journey and to bring all the tools and resources that I've used with clients for many, many years and with myself, and to actually put them into a book and to get them out into the hands of people so they can have this journey, shorten this window of self-forgetting and widen this window of self-remembering to truly be who they want to be, who they have been called to be, and who they, in their trueness, right, in their hearts, in their bodies, in their minds, that they seek to be. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you so much. So here is my final question for you. If listeners could take just one lesson from this entire conversation or from your book, what would you want that to be?
Well, I guess this is a book. It's not a book that has answers in it. It's a companion that I'm providing for the journey inward that quietly transforms the life you're living. So it's the tools and the resources that are going to journey along with someone as they are wanting to live this life that they want to live. And it gives the practices, it gives the tools, it gives the resources. And so if you're wanting to be on this journey, if you found yourself questioning, who am I? What do I want to be now? Who do I want to be now? Or something is just, eating at you, or there's this inner angst about, I'm not living this life that I really, truly want to live, then this is a book that's going to journey with you. It's not going to give you a whole bunch of answers because the answers are in you. And my hope is that this book just generates the questions that you can then turn and ask yourself.
Okay, Teresa, thank you so much. This has been a very, very exciting episode. Thank you for sharing with us your insights and your perspective, your wisdom, and your journey from self-forgetting to self-remembering. So for those who want to connect with you, learn more about what you do, and be able to get your book, how can they do that?
You can visit my website. It's www.innerwork of love and action. So it's all one word, innerworkofloveandaction.com. And if there are people that are looking and saying, hey, I'd love to do this in business, my business website is www.transforminc.com.
All right, thank you so much. And to my audience out there, I love you guys so much. Make sure to check out Teresa's work. And if this episode is speaking to you, share this episode with someone who might need to self-forget and self-remember themselves. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye, Teresa.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.